Well, hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another Deep Woods Paranormal podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the host of the Deep Woods Paranormal podcast, along with my wife Amanda. We and other people, we investigate everything said to be paranormal, including cattle mutilations. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But we've been investigating for about 30 years. We started out with ghosts, and then we went to Bigfoots, and then now we investigate everything in between. If it's strange and unusual, or not or not normal, or paranormal in nature, we investigate it. Be it aliens, UFOs, ghosts, haunted locations, demons, you name it, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, anything else in between, we investigate it. So let's get right into this. Let me share my screen with you. If you're listening on the audio podcast, don't worry about not being able to see the screen. I will do everything I can to basically describe what I'm talking about and give you enough definition so that you can essentially understand, hopefully. And if you don't, the links are all down below on both the audio and the video podcast, whether you're on a Rumble channel or our YouTube channel. You can go down and click on that link, and I'll show that to you in just 1 second here. We need to start here. Sorry, this is my third time through this. Every time I started talking, the dogs would go absolutely nuts for some reason. All right. So as you guys know, we are sponsored by Manscaped. If you'd like to come on here and buy a product from them or products, I'd highly recommend them. I've been using their products for about 3 months now. Really, really like their products. It's good, high quality stuff. It's not cheap. It's not, a little bit goes a long way. These bottles are not huge, but they've lasted me a long time. I'm barely through any of them, and I've been using them for 3 months. So yeah, really like it. Really like the trimmer and stuff like that. So if you're like me and you're out in the woods and you kind of sweat a lot, these little balls fit perfectly in the back of a backpack or whatever. So you can kind of keep yourself fresh down there and in other places. And for you ladies, this stuff works for you too. If you're out in the wild and you want to get have something that kind of keeps you fresh down there, you're welcome to that. They have other products too, like they have beard kits and stuff like that. So again, if you want to come on to the Manscaped website and you want to buy something, when you get down to checkout and it says discount code, put in DWP, and that just stands for Deep Woods Paranormal, and that'll give you a nice discount. Okay, so let's move on. All right, again, this is our audio podcast for those that are watching visually. If you want to come over here onto speaker or iHeartRadio or anything like that, we're on all these different platforms. I think we're on 60 different platforms. So if you're listening to this podcast and you want to watch us, again, you can come down here to all of our sites are linked. Everything I'm going to talk about will be linked down below. You'll see a link to sources down here in the actual podcast. This is just our general page, has all of our information on it. If you want to contact us, we've had several people contact us recently about different things they wanted to report, a couple of UFO reports, a Bigfoot report, and so on and so forth, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much for referring people to us, and thank you to those people that felt comfortable enough to reach out to us. We will take very good care of you, and your information will be kept to a minimum as long as you tell us that you don't want any information out. So, all right. So again, if you want to listen to our podcast, if you're watching visually in our YouTube channel, you can find all these same links, and again, links to everything I'm about to talk about regarding the cattle mutilations here in Texas in our backyard will be linked down below as well. So let's get into this. All right, so there's a stretch of road called the OSR. It's called the Texas OSR, and I don't remember exactly what OSR stands for. I know it's State Road. I don't know what the O stands for. I need to look that up. But anyways, there's a section of land out here called Madisonville. or Madison County. And essentially, what's happening is um, there's been a lot of cattle mutilations in this area for some reason recently. We're down here, if you're watching visually, we're down here in the College Station area. And so, but for work, I drive through a lot of these places, and all these blue pins you're seeing on this map, most of them are paranormal related. Some of them aren't. Some of them are just my pins so I can remember where the hell that was. Excuse my language. Um, but anyway, this chunk of land here, along this OSR, we are going to be kind of driving up and down it through into Madisonville tomorrow night. Madisonville is a very tiny town. We're not going to really bother anybody. We don't want to really interview anybody unless they want to be interviewed about the cattle mutilations. We've had a lot of contact with people, and thank you guys so much for contacting us, commenting, and everything you did for us to kind of give us some information on Facebook. We're still currently chit-chatting with people. This is going to be a long-term thing. We're going to continue to check this out until we can kind of get some more solid information, and we will keep everybody updated on what's going on. We will be recording what we're doing, and we will publish it video-wise on our YouTube channel and on our Rumble channel for you guys to watch and see for yourself. Make up your own minds as to what's going on. Now, when you hear the word cattle mutilation, you immediately go to, oh, it's aliens. Or it's I'm not going to say that word, but it's Big Brother. I don't want to get in trouble. So yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people think. There's other possibilities of what it could be. I was actually looking through. I've been doing a lot of research. I've followed cattle mutilations for years. I've heard about them for a long time, and they're always associated with aliens. The poor aliens get all the credit for that, but and so does Big Brother sometimes. But there could be other things. Now we'll talk about. Well, let's get into this. Let me go into here. This is the local news report. This is KBTX3. This is our local news channel. They cover Bryan, they cover Madisonville, they cover College Station where we live, and stuff like that. So anyways, it says Madison County deputies investigate cattle mutilation. It says ranchers are alarmed and concerned about the safety of their livestock, and authorities are taking these incidents very seriously. Now, I've had, just before I get into this news article, talking about what I've experienced from Facebook, because a lot of people, thank you very much to all these people who commented. I posted a post on our on our Facebook page, and asked if anybody else had experienced anything like this. Are you one of the people that have had their cattle mutilated? Are you one of the people that in the past has heard or seen anything? And we've had 1,000 people come forward. I think we're at like almost 1,200 comments. So thank you guys. That's amazing. That you're so many people from this area. Just this from this area. I have a 50-mile radius from College Station around, because I don't want to just focus in on Madisonville. I want to know if there's other stuff going on around us. If you drive out of College Station, almost anywhere you go, towards Houston, towards San Antonio or Austin, if you go towards Dallas or anywhere out that way, any which way you go out on these roads, there's farms. I mean, you get on these little side roads and most of it's just farmland. There's cows everywhere. There's which is awesome. We have a lot of cattle in this area. And so I'm wondering if, I wanted to touch base with everybody, not just the people in that one area, because I want to know if anybody else has seen or heard or experienced anything, or maybe they've had cattle unfortunately mutilated. And it's just really sad. Number one, for the animal. Hopefully they were euthanized before they were mutilated like this. Number two, think about the poor farmer. Let's just take it from this report. They found 6 of their longhorn cattle, which I'm sure longhorn are expensive animals. They're not cheap to buy. So imagine buying a cattle, let's just say you bought 6 cattle and you spent, $4,000 to $5,000 on each one, and then you raise them to, let's say for 2 or 3 years, maybe a little longer, and then you sell them off and stuff like that. And yes, you do make quite a bit of money probably, but how much money do these guys and these families and owners of this cattle put into these animals? There's food, which is expensive as heck. Um, there's, you got to take care of them with a vet and stuff like that, make sure they're healthy. Your time. They put a lot of time and energy into their cattle. They love their cattle out here. They're free range. They're well taken care of. These cattle are they're beautiful. And so, imagine you have $10,000 invested in each cow, and you just lost 6 of them. That's $60,000. That's not cheap, guys. That's like buying a really expensive car. Imagine if you bought a brand new, I'm not going to say Lamborghini or something, but imagine you bought a brand new truck, limited something or other, or whatever, and it was beautiful one day, and the next day you come out and somebody's taken all the wheels off and ripped out the engine and done a bunch of other stuff to it, and it's not drivable anymore. And let's say you didn't have insurance, then you're just out 60 grand. That's a major hit. So my heart goes out to the families and the owners of this cattle that this is affected. I really hope that the animals didn't suffer. And I've had lots of conversations via chat with people that have these farms and stuff like that, not the ones that got mutilated, but other farms. And they've told me, it's extremely hard to go sneak out there in the middle of the night and grab a cow or 2 or 3 or 4. Yes, it does happen, but it's very, very rare. These people out here are heavily armed. They, they take care of their own land. They know their land like the back of their hand. And they have animals, other animals like dogs. A lot of them have dogs that roam around on their properties at night and bark and scream and will chase people off. And for you to get onto somebody's property like this, from what I understand, it's almost impossible. They're going to come out shooting at you. So unless you have permission to be there, unless they know you're there. So the fact that this was able to be done without anybody hearing anything or seeing anything is amazing. No animals, no other animals were mutilated, thank God. But imagine, walking out to your pasture, and all of a sudden there's all these cows laying on their sides, and they've been mutilated like this. So, anyways, sorry to just drag that on, but I wanted to give a shout out to the people that had this happen. I apologize to you guys for that. Like I said, my friend and I and a couple other people are going to be out there just driving up and down the OSR. So if you see us, you'll see the Deep Woods Paranormal truck, logos and everything on the side. Please don't shoot us. We're just there to help watch. We're going to keep an eye on things tonight. And we'll be out there with night vision technology, binoculars, cameras and stuff like that, trying to document anything we see, anything we experience. We'll go to the sheriff's office if it's something that they can use to prosecute somebody for doing this. Maybe somebody is really good at doing this, but as you'll see in a minute, these cow mutilations go back hundreds of years. So, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. So let's talk about this. Let me read this to you. It says Madison County, Texas. The Madison County Sheriff's Office is investigating a series of mysterious cattle deaths and mutilations that have occurred along the OSR, which is just basically, it's not a highway. It's out here in Texas. There are highways, but there's a lot of like side roads. They're small, just single dual lane highways, one traffic lane each way most of the time. So they're just old country roads. It says a rancher reported finding a 6-year-old longhorn a 6-year-old longhorn cross cow laying on her side. deceased and mutilated on their ranch. It says deputies say at least 6 other cows have been discovered dead and mutilated in different areas along the OSR going into Brazos County as well as Robertson County, all with strikingly similar injuries. So we live in Brazos County, if you're wondering. Um, Similar incidents have been reported across the United States, said deputies in a post on Facebook, which we did reach out to the Madison County Sheriff's Office to try and get some information from them, but we have not heard yet back from them. We wanted to give them some information, letting them know that we were going to be out there driving up and down the roads. We don't want to cause any problems, but we do want to help if we can, like I said. So if you're part of the Madison County Sheriff's Office, please don't arrest us or anything. We will not be on anybody's property. We're going to stay on the road. And if you see us out there with night vision binoculars looking at people's farms, it's basically or watching the sky. It's basically just to see if we can experience anything. So it says similar incidents have been reported across the United States, as deputy in a post on Facebook. The Madison County Sheriff's Office is actively coordinating with other agencies to find answers and is urging anyone with information to contact investigators. Now, I tried to get a hold of Investigator Foster, but the number I called, there was nobody by the name of Foster at that end. So I don't know if that's just their way of like a code word for, okay, they're calling us about this or whatever. It says the investigation is ongoing and more information will be released as it becomes available. So, yeah, that's basically the same thing. This is where we're going to be looking tomorrow night. We're going to be just driving up and down the OSR. If you see us out there and you want to, help out, feel free to say hi. My information's in the contact information. My contact information is in the description below. My cell number is in there. My email's in there. You can feel free to text me if you want to. If you're out in that area and you want us to combine, say hi, or you just want to meet us, or you want to help out, please let us know, and we'll coordinate with you. Anyways, so this podcast is going to go out tonight. It's Friday night. You'll have about a day to contact us. This is it's April 21st, 2023. So I think we're going to be back out there the following weekend, maybe two, if we have any luck, depending on what happens with our results tomorrow. So I think we're going to probably be out till midnight or so, depending on what's going on. Okay, so this is pretty much the same thing. It says Deep East Texas officials investigate after cows found dead, mutilated. So basically, this says almost exactly the same thing. It's the same story. They just ran with it. I think I was looking for different sources. I was going to play this breaking news, but I'll link this for you guys to watch. This is looks like CBS or ABC, yeah, CBS 19. So I'm not sure. They might be in College Station as well. All right, so let's move on. All right, so here is I wanted to find out more about cattle mutilations. And so this is on Wikipedia. So I got some information here. It says cattle mutilation, also known as bovine accession and unexplained livestock death or animal mutilation, is the killing and mutilation of cattle under unusually bloody circumstances. The phenomenon has been observed among wild animals as well. Worldwide, sheep, horses, goats, pigs, rabbits, cats, dogs, bison, deer, and elk have been reported mutilated with similar bloodless excisions, often in ear, eyeball, jaw, flesh, tongue, lymph nodes, genitalia, and the nether region have been removed. I'm not going to read that. You guys can come on here and read that. I want to keep this PG if I can. All right. So it says since the first report of animal mutilations, various explanations have been offered, ranging from natural decomposition. God, decompose. I can't talk today. Decomposition and normal predatory to cults and secretive government and military agents to a range of specifications, including cryptid predators like chupacabra and extraterrestrials. Mutilations have been the subject of two independent federal investigations for the United States. So, sorry about that. I butchered the hell out of that. I don't know why I can't get my tongue to actually say what I wanted to say. All right. So it says the earliest known documented outbreak of unexplained livestock deaths occurred in the early 1600s, 1606. And it says about the city of London of the shires adjoining. It says whole slaughters of sheep have been made in some places, places to numer 100, and in others less, where nothing is taken from the sheep but their tallow and some inward parts. The whole carcass and fleece remained still behind. Other let's see, I can't read that. Let's see, let me just read through this here. So yeah, basically, there's been a lot of documentation of this. There's gosh, let me try and take a drink. Okay, maybe my tongue's just dry. Animal mutilation was relatively unknown until 1967, when the Pueblo Chafin published a story about a horse called Snippy that was mysteriously killed and mutilated in Alamosa, Colorado. Excuse me. It says on September 9th, 1969, Angus King and her son Harry reportedly found the body of their 3-year-old horse. The horse's head and neck had been skinned and defleshed, and the body displayed cuts. The cuts that King looked very precise. She said there was no blood at the scene, and according to her son, there was a strong medicinal odor in the air, meaning maybe somebody had tranquilized the animal or used something kind of sterile product on the animal. Maybe they went back and wiped the horse down with it. I don't know. So let's get into here. So another one, 1973. On December 4th, 1973, law enforcement reported a wave of cow mutilations in 7 counties across Kansas and Nebraska. So sexual organs reportedly have been removed. Weeks later, it was reported that 38 mysterious cattle deaths had occurred across 11 counties. Multiple lab tests suggested many of the animals had died from backleg cattle disease. Let's look that up real quick. It says backleg, back quarter, quarter evil, or quarter ill is an infectious bacterial disease that most commonly is caused by bacterial specimens. It is seen in livestock all over the world, usually taking effect in cattle, sheep, and goats. It has been seen occasionally in farmed bison and deer. The acute nature of the disease makes successful treatment difficult, and the efficiency, basically, I guess there's a vaccine for it. So if you come down here, it shows that a calf had some kind of injury. But what's interesting is there's like a huge sore on its butt, but there's blood pouring down out of the sore. It looks like it was a blister, like a very large blister, and then it popped, and there's blood all over the animal's leg. So that doesn't really just answer the question of why is there no blood? So it says later developments. Senator Floyd K. Haskell contacted the FBI asking for help in 1975 due to the public concern regarding the issue. He claimed there had been 130 mutilations in Colorado alone and further reports across 9 states. This is back in the 1970s. A 1979 FBI report indicated that according to investigations by the New Mexico State Police, there had been an estimated 8,000 mutilations in Colorado, causing about $1 million in damage. So that's terrible, guys. You can just see how much, I'm not going to do the math, but 8,000 divided by a million, that's a lot per cow. And that's back in the 70s. Imagine now, almost 30 years later, cows, and you've been to the grocery store, probably you've seen how much meat is. Jeez. Anyways, it says many cases of mutilation have been reported worldwide since the 1967 snippet incident, mainly in Americas and Australia. So let's see. It says physical characteristics. It says in most cases, mutilation wounds appear to be clean and carried out surgically. So it says mutilated animals are sometimes reported to have been drained of blood and show no signs of blood in the immediate area or around the wounds. So that's interesting. According to Howard Burgess, near 90% of mutilated cattle are between 4 and 5 years old. That's very strange. It says in some cases, strange markings or imprints near the site have been found. In famous Snippy case, there was an absolute absence of tracks, 100 feet and 100-foot radius of the carcass. Even the horse's own tracks disappeared within 100 feet of the body. But within the radius, several small holes were found seemingly punched in the ground, and 2 bushes were absolutely flattened. Okay, here we go. Getting back into the alien side of things. All right. So it says in Rio Arabiana County, New Mexico, in 1976, a trail of suction cup-like impressions was found leading from a mutilated 3-year-old cow. So the indications were in a the indentations were in a tripod. God, I cannot talk today. The indentations were a tripod form, 4 inches in diameter, 28 inches apart, and disappeared 500 feet from the dead cow. So again, this happened. This was also reported in 1978. So it says laboratory reports, and this is interesting because this gets into the scientific side, which I really like. It says laboratory reports carried out on some of the mutilated animals have shown unusually high or low levels of vitamin minerals in the tissue samples, and the presence of the chemical not normally found in animals. However, not all mutilated animals display these anomalies. And those that do have slightly different anomalies from one another. It says on account of time between death and autopsy and a lack of background information on specific cattle, investigators have found it often impossible to determine if these variations are connected to the animal's deaths or not. So, yeah, it's conventional explanations. And what's the first thing they have in big bold letters? Big Brother in other letters. So they think it says after coming under increased public pressure, federal authorities launched a comprehensive investigation into the mutilation phenomenon. It says in May 1979, the case was passed on to the FBI, which was granted jurisdiction under Title 18. The investigation was dubbed Operation Animal Mutilation. The investigation was funded by a $44,000 grant, equivalent to almost $165,000 today, from the law enforcement Law Enforcement Assistant Administration. It was held by FBI Kenneth Rommel, and it had 5 objectives. So their objective number 1 was to determine the reliability of information on which the grant was based, with which entailed gathering as much information as possible about the cases in the reported New Mexico prior to 1979, to determine the cause of as many mutilations as possible, especially those reported in New Mexico. Number 3, to determine if livestock mutilation, as described, constitutes a major law enforcement problem. Number 4, if these mutilations do constitute a major law enforcement problem, to determine the scope of the problem and to offer recommendations on how to deal with it. Number 5, if it is shown the mutilation phenomenon is not a law enforcement problem, to recommend that no further law enforcement investigations be funded. So let's see. It says his findings were released 297 pages long. It says, according to some estimates in 1979, 10,000 head of cattle had been mysteriously mutilated. However, the report concluded that these mutilations were predominantly the result of natural predation, which means basically predators. But in some cases, contained anomalies that could not be accounted for by conventional wisdom. So the FBI was unable to identify any individuals responsible for the mutilations. Details of the investigation are not available under the Freedom of Information Act. The released material includes correspondence from Rommel, where he states that most credible sources have attributed this damage to normal predatory scavengatory activity. So essentially, they're saying that it's just natural causes. And I mean, I've never actually physically seen in person one of the animals that's been mutilated, so I can't tell you 100%. But I've seen the shows and I've seen pictures and I've done some research into it. And I mean, some of that stuff, I mean, for an animal to be cut perfectly like that with no blood, you'd think if something exploded inside an animal and the skin was ripped off or whatever, there'd be a blood trail, there'd be some tissue, there wouldn't be these perfect cuts. Predators don't make perfect lines. Nothing in nature is perfectly straight or perfectly round or whatever. It's very hard to find anything like that. So let's see. So basically, it could be a military experiment. It says aliens or UFOs, government interference, unknown creatures. And then basically they're saying El Chupacabra might be doing this. So there's a lot of different El Chupacabra theories. Some people say that they're the half coyote, half wolf animals that people are seeing out there with all that mange on them, with the hairless. I just think those are some kind of new creature that may have been created out of necessity from the wildlife to essentially create a new predator, if you will, because life always finds a way, if you will. But some people claim that there's aliens that, are more sinister, and they essentially will do all kinds of things like that. Okay, let's keep going. We're about to get a knock on the door, so don't be surprised if you hear dogs barking. Yeah. So here's some more livestock reports. It says Utah reports alarming increase in suspicious livestock death and disappearances. So it says Utah Department of Agriculture and Food says it's received reports of large numbers of reported missing and harmed livestock in the state this year, according to an alarming trend that has been increasing over the past 4 years. It says our department has been investigating a substantial amount of cases of missing livestock and suspicious livestock deaths this year. It says animal industry director, the animal, in a press release last week. Well, we don't know exactly what the cause of the increased cases are. It's very concerning, and we will need to raise awareness about what these things are happening. So it says, as of July of this year, the Department of Agriculture and Food says it's received missing livestock reports for 77 cattle, 5 horses, mules, and sheep and goats. Of the 83 animals, 7 have been found. The department also received 7 reports of suspicious livestock death and are currently under investigation. So there you go. There's you can, if you're watching the podcast, you can see the pictures again. Everything will be linked below for you guys to come on here and make up your own mind. You got to take all this with a grain of salt. This is from August 10th of 2022. So you can come on here and take a peek and make up your own mind as to what's going on. So, hey pops. So it says, despite the mutilations, cattle mutilations, legit lore or cold file mysteries. And this is an old article. This is from September 19th of 2015. It says, despite the mutilations' appearance across time and space, no one has come up with a definitive explanation of what is happening. It says, imagine this. In July, it's a July evening in Arroyo Hondo, excuse me if I butchered that. The waning sky and the moon are beginning to give way to night. And a rancher latches a gate behind him after checking on his livestock for the evening. It all seems fine, especially the 6-month-old bull. But in the morning light of a new day, it becomes clear that nothing about this pasture is fine, especially the bull. It says no signs of struggle mar the pasture beyond the willows where the bull lay dead. The skin was missing from around the jaw, one eye, the tongue, and its yin yang were totally gone. Nowhere in the field, nowhere found, pretty much. The animal's rear end was poured out. The scene was absolutely bloodless. So that's very strange. It says the mutilated cows of Teos were serious business in the mid-90s. Ever since one of the first reported cases in 1976 near Pot Mountain came to light, the mystery of how the cows ended up dead and disfigure only grew more stupefying. It says the Hondo case shared the same element traits with cattle mutilations spread across the globe, from Mora to Brazil to Deuce to France. Mutilated cows and other large mammals have had organs and skin missing, removed with surgical precision, and bones exposed as white as clean as basically they're just been surgically removed. So it says, despite the mutilation's appearance across time and space, no one's come up with a divine explanation of what happened. It says most folks who call themselves level-headed chalk it up to predators, but what an imperfect explanation, as many of the ranchers whose cows turn up dead say they yearly ease of the field. Let's see, let me read that again. As many of the ranchers whose cows turn up dead say the eerie ease of the field look nothing like a predator kill as they've ever seen. Most everyone else hypothesizes UFOs, but that too fails to take the story from A to Z. Perhaps it was simply a crime spree with dedicated copycats, a government cover-up of mad cow disease, a secret Macedo military base, and basically they're just saying the military Satanists or demented pranksters. So they're just saying they don't know. You guys can come on here and read this for yourselves, but there's a picture here of a cow, and they're looking at it essentially, and they're trying to figure out what happened. Let me come here again. More cattle mutilations. This happened in March 16th, 2022. This picture was taken in Dutchess County in 2020. And it says a similar case occurred in Bear Valley last month. So I believe this is in Colorado. And again, not one drop of blood. Cattle mysteriously mutilated in Oregon. And this happened on October 8th, 2019. So I'm kind of giving you guys a broad range. Let me stop sharing my screen here. So I've kind of given you guys a broad range of when things have happened. Yeesh. Sorry, my little one's got a bad trachea. She's got a collapsing trachea. So she coughs like that every once in a while. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. It sounds like a poltergeist. Anyways, so yeah, these things have been happening for hundreds of years. No one's really ever been able to say for sure it's 100% this. Now, my thinking is, I know these people would be able to tell if somebody had been on their property. They're saying there's no tire tracks, no footprints, or anything like that. It's just recently rained quite a bit. We had some of these places, Madisonville probably had 4 to 5 inches last night of rain. I know where I work up in Hearn, we had almost 6 inches of rain. Down here in the College Station Bryan area, we had about 3 inches of rain in about a 3 or 4 hour time period. But anyways, so that should leave traces of, like, if you're going to go in there and take these animals, these cows and stuff are not light. They've got to be pushing, I don't know, 500-600 pounds, and some of them bigger than that, up to thousands of pounds. I mean, 1,000 pounds or more. So let's say you went in, you shot the cow, okay? Then you've got to move that huge animal off site because you don't want to leave any blood, right? So you got to take the animal, somehow get it onto a trailer, which is going to take either a lot of manpower and or heavy equipment, which could make a lot of noise. But you're doing this, it has to be kept to the point where no one can hear you. So essentially, you got to be very, very careful. You got to put this animal onto some kind of trailer or something, back in the back of a truck or something. Take it off site, do whatever you're going to do with it, do all this crazy stuff to it, and mutilate it, take these things from it, and then basically return it back with no blood, and almost basically exactly where it was, without leaving any tracks, without leaving any trace. Now, some people say, if it's Big Brother, they're flying over with a helicopter and essentially just scooping these animals up and then taking them off somewhere else and then bringing them back and setting them back down. And that explains the lack of tracks. Yeah, but I mean, well, the military does have helicopter that don't make any noise, but why would they do that? I mean, the military has money like crazy. I mean, they spend trillions of dollars a year on our military, especially in these secret areas. If you're going to come grab a cow or cows, why would you spend all that money to do it? You could easily just buy one for cheaper. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And what would be the purpose of doing that? I mean, is it to incite fear? I mean, is that what they're trying to do? Are they trying to push us in a direction? Let's just take that giant leap down that rabbit hole. Let's just say it's creatures from another planet coming down and basically grabbing the cow or tractor beaming the cow maybe up into their ship and flying off and doing whatever they're doing with the animal and then bringing it back and dumping it back down to where it was before. That could explain some of the marks that were left on the ground. And again, that's like way down that rabbit hole. And I know a lot of people, they just sit there laughing, going, okay, he's lost it. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is a possibility. You have to leave that open, that there is a possibility for that. even the military's come out recently and said, "Hey, we don't know what these things are." Um, I believe that some of them we fly, and I believe some of them have. Well, I've even heard military people say that. Some of them are ours, some of them aren't ours. Some of them we don't know where they came from. So, anyways, I will leave it up to you guys to try and figure out what's going on. If you'd like to leave a comment down below, please be polite, but leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are, and be respectful to other people's opinions. There is no it's this or it's that. There's a lot of theory, and that's what this is. It's all just theory. And until somebody comes catches somebody red-handed doing this, um, it's just theory. So nobody knows for sure what's going on. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. If you do me a favor, hit that like button down there, hit the thumbs up or whatever, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a podcast. We do produce these 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. And then, we'll keep you posted on what's going on with our investigation into this, if we can. Like I said, any findings, if we find out it's real people doing this, we will be turning it over to the Madisonville Police Department. I'm sorry, the Madison PD, for them to choose what they want to do with it, and we'll keep that quiet until they say we can actually say, okay, it was these guys were caught red-handed, but we're going to try and help out as best we can. We're going to stay out of their way. We're going to be very courteous to the people that are there. We don't want to interfere with them in any way. But like I said, if if you're a rancher out there and you see, black truck out there and it has logos on the side that says Deep Woods Paranormal, please don't shoot. We're there for you. We're trying to find out what's going on too. And maybe get you guys some answers. Whether it is, government helicopters or maybe it's, like I said, diving down that rabbit hole. Maybe it is UFOs, or maybe it's just people doing stupid things. And so, like I said, I'd like to get to the bottom of it and figure out what's going on and go from there. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. Please hit that notification bell. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of different content. You'll see some videos coming out on our investigation from tomorrow night, probably in a week or so. And from what we can release, if we get anything at all, we might not find anything. So, and then we're continuing to put out short videos from our investigations and possible evidence of paranormal activity and other things like that. So, a lot of stuff coming up. I might do a couple of quick videos on me getting ready for tomorrow night. Basically going through the gear, and you can see the closet behind me. I call that the closet of doom, because there's just so much paranormal gear in there. It's not even funny. I've got crap everywhere. My wife calls me a hoarder. So, anyways, yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks again for listening, and we appreciate you. And to all those people that commented on Facebook, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We appreciate your help, and basically all the nice comments and everything. So, thank you guys again for everybody that listens and tries to help us out. You guys have a good one.